Well, hello my friends, welcome back. Today we are going to make Christmas cookies, and when my oldest son heard that I was going to make cookies, the first thing I heard out of his mouth, "Are you going to bother to make me candy cane cookies this year?" My son has always loved them, and they are a pain in the dupa to make. So I told him I didn't know if I was or not. So then my daughter-in-law asked my little guy and I to go to church this morning. So we did. And while at church, the minister was talking about how the candy cane can make a story. And I thought, all right, enough's enough. I'm going to take the sign. I am going to attempt to make the candy canes. So these cookies are going to be for him. He better enjoy and appreciate it. But first, anybody that knows me knows I am not a pink person. And I don't much care for the way it looks on me. But for some reason lately, so many things have been pink that I have been getting. Sorry, I had the cat get in my back of my leg. So, I actually really like this shirt. And it's pink. But I don't want to ruin it, so even with an apron, it'll get ruined with me. I spill everything. I make a big mess when I cook and when I bake. So I'm going to go change. And then I'm going to meet you at my mixer. So, come on. Let's get to baking. Now that I have changed, I'm at my mixer. And yesterday we did the sugar cookies. And that was my grandmother on my mom's side recipe. These candy cane cookies are from my dad's side of the family. That was handed down, and it's so simple. It really is to mix it up. All it is 1 cup of shortening. Again, I'm using the lard that I make. And then we use a cup of confectionery sugar. We use 1 egg, a half a teaspoon of salt. Now, the recipe calls for a teaspoon of vanilla and then a teaspoon of almond. Where's the peppermint? Kind of crazy, isn't it? But anyhow, I am out of almond. And I couldn't figure out why, and then I remembered, hey, I was always going to make almond extract, and I never did. I know, right? Crazy me. So, needless to say, we will be making some almond extract. I have all the almonds for it. Just haven't gotten to it. Don't mind my dog. She has been on this kick lately. She wants attention. She just looks at me and starts barking. Driving me crazy. But that's how I know she wants to talk to me. And it's not that she wants to go out. She just came in. They have food. They have water. But hey. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start mixing this. And then once it's mixed up, I will add 2.5 cups of flour. Real easy, guys. Now I want to show you the consistency. Drill. Kind of greasy, but you can shape it. As we all know, candy canes are not just one color. So I do not have white food coloring, obviously. But for this next step, what we want to do is we want to divide the dough in half. And then we want to mix red food coloring in with half the dough. So I'm going to get that done now. Alright, here we go, guys. I've got my red dough and I've got my regular dough. You take a piece of your dough, and I always work it out in my hands, and then you just kind of roll it back and forth and spread it out for however big you want them. And see, it's not easy to work with this. I don't make these every year. While I don't mind the taste of them, they are very complicated sometimes, and many times instead of them coming out as a candy cane, they come out as a straight candy cane because I get aggravated. Just going back and forth real quick, little. And then when I do it this way, I am not pushing out and bringing my hands out like usual. I actually push mine together to help hold it, to help keep it from separating. So alright, we got one there. Now let's do a little getting the little pieces that have come off when I separate. I'm really not big on making these. But what I do next is I bring them side to side like that. Just kind of pinch them together. Just to help stick them as one. Kind of give it a roll. Now as you can see, it's just straight. So then I just kind of work it around like a candy cane. Just like that, and then we just work on rolling it. Now that it's getting a little bit longer than what I really want to be rolling with my hand, I will take my recipe, just kind of cut it in half. Make this a little smaller. And roll it. Then I will bring the cookie sheet over. I will set it on the cookie sheet. And then once on the cookie sheet, I will just kind of bring it around and shape it like a candy cane. Just rolling it back and forth real gently. It looks pretty good, doesn't it? Take my recipe, cut it in half. make it just a little bit thinner, if I can without ruining it. And then just work it to curl it over. And there we have it. You just got to work with it and find what works for you. Because what works for you might not work for me, but what works for me might not work for you. And these are very time consuming to make. At least for me. And I do not claim to be an expert. My candy canes will not be in a good shape. They will be misshapen. But at the end of the day, will my son have his candy cane cookies that he has asked for when he gets home from work tonight? He will. And then I just do the same thing with the red. The red, because it has that little added moisture, rolls out much better and a lot easier. I will just go back and forth real quick. Try and keep even pressure when you do that. And you want to get them to about the same length. See how they're about the same length there? Now I pinch it together. Just like so. Pinch it. Pinch it. And then I will twist. To get to the candy cane look. Just kind of keep pinching and twisting as you go to keep the colors where you want them. And then once you're satisfied, see, that's still rather big. It's also breaking apart. Gently roll it together. And if you can roll this out so that it's long enough to make 2 cookies, well, you're doing darn good. I usually have to cut it in half. And then work half at a time. But we're going to try. Let's see if we can maneuver this. Yeah, it's breaking in the middle. So I will be very, very surprised if I can get it to work. But you never know. We're still doing okay. And as you go, if you see that it kind of loses the shape that you want from rolling it, you can just maneuver it. You know, I actually probably, instead of keeping the shape here, I could probably just keep it in a straight line, roll it, put it on the cookie sheet, and twist it on the cookie sheet. Every time I think I have this figured out, the next year, it doesn't work. And I have to try again. Now, I actually got this at a good length for both of them. So I just used my recipe card and cut it, pinch the ends, maybe give it another little roll if you want it a little bit longer. Bring our cookie sheet over. And we will set it on our cookie sheet. And just shape it into a candy cane. And there we go. I'm just going to keep doing this. And then I've got the oven preheating at 375 degrees. And we will bake them. What's the recipe say? I think it's like 10 minutes. The recipe doesn't say. So you just got to keep watch. It's usually about 8 to 10 minutes. So I'm just going to keep working at this. It's not a... This is time consuming. It really is. And I will see you when they're done baking. What I wanted to show you I'm doing right now is I am taking a candy cane and crushing it up. This is why we don't use peppermint flavoring. But if you choose not to do this next step when they come out of the oven, then you probably could substitute in some peppermint flavoring. All right, the timer went off. They look good. We're going to take them out. As soon as they come out of the oven, you want to take your peppermint that you just shredded and sprinkle over top of them so that way they can melt right onto the cookie. And of course, a lot of it's not going to be right on the cookie. All right, everybody, there we have it. The candy cane cookies are made. I had one that broke. As you can see, the peppermint melts onto it. I don't know if it's going to focus, but they taste really good. They may be a pain to make. They may be a pain to make, but in all actuality, they really are a good, tasty cookie. All right, please like, share, and subscribe, and we're going to see you on the next video. Toodles!